stupid. I would never call you stupid. Hi, everybody. Thanks for checking out. Welcome back to America this week. We're going to Canada. We're not really going, but we're talking to some people from Canada. I've never actually been to Canada myself, but Millie has, and she's kind of got a little beef with Canada for some reason. But we got a couple of great comedians out from Canada, some of Canadian sons. We got Korri Birch, who's got a show called Good News Toronto. Very funny. Really like that show. Check it out. And then we're going to talk to Graham Kay, Lords of the Edge. He's got a podcast. I hope that's the name. And they're both really funny guys. So
yes, but not as funny as Americans.
Oh wow, yeah. We in some of her research, she found that there's a lot of shows that make fun of Canadians like to make fun of Americans.
Yes, they have a show called "Well, It's Better Than America." That's
almost our title. I feel like I feel like we're being made fun of.
And then there's another talking to Americans.
Oh.
I'm probably saying it wrong because I'm so stupid.
Well, yeah,
But they expose our ignorance.
Yeah, we don't like that.
But they're picking on the wrong people.
We are to Canada what Florida is to the rest of America. That's how they see it. I think that's.
Did you know that Canada is the second largest country in the world?
Yes, I did.
Can we see that map? Look at that map.
I did know that.
See the yellow part right there? We're going to talk about the yellow part today. That's where Toronto and Ottowa is. Kerry Birch is from Toronto. Beautiful city.
Yeah, beautiful city.
That's like Vancouver, too, which is gorgeous like that. And the other spot is Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada.
I've heard that's the capital.
Yeah, there it is. Look, so beautiful, Ottawa. Look at that. It's so magical.
Yeah, it looks it's very English looking.
Yeah, I like it. I would go there.
Very
but
European.
I'm afraid they're going to do something to me because they don't like me.
European influenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like you.
Yeah, they don't like
they don't like Americans.
I used to like this mount he had here, but
it's not true. I have never found that Canadians dislike Americans.
They don't tell you. They say it on the inside.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, 70% of all maple syrup in the world is found in Quebec.
So that's what keeps that country afloat.
Maple syrup, where's that? Yummy.
Yummers.
Yes, so maple syrup needs to be guarded like recreational drugs.
Yeah, I would imagine if it's 70% of their exports are,
Except during this one early morning when they must have been doing something else, $18 million worth of maple syrup was stolen. Somebody must have been, probably eating someone's pancakes.
Panty-cakes? Someone was eating
pancakes.
Panty cakes.
Or panty cakes.
Panty cakes.
Somebody was not doing their job.
Panty cake.
There's tons of maple products.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of different kinds of maple. Name some maple products.
There's maple tea, maple butter, maple sugar, maple pancakes, maple cookies, maple bacon, maple garlic.
There's maple, which is
maple
really
popcorn.
delicious.
There's a lot of maple going on there. Maple milk chocolate. Wow. In the airport, it was all maple. Just maple,
it gets sticky around there.
It's very sticky.
You can't really touch anything in Canada. It's all made of maple.
It is. And you know what? Comedy is explosive in Canada.
They have given us some of the most important and most famous people.
Is that crazy? There's tons of festivals, competitions. The home of Second City, SNL College.
SNL,
look at the names.
Those are the Second City people, Chicago City Limits people, SNL people. Dan Aykroyd,
you just pretty much figured Chevy Chase wasn't on there. He's one of ours.
Yeah, he's one of ours. We got
him.
Can we trade a Chevy Chase?
No, but we have Belushi.
Yeah,
so
but
we got Belushi.
Chevy's still alive.
Yeah, so is the brother, James Belushi.
Don't want to
is
trade
alive.
someone.
Anyway, so there's a stage in Second City. It's gorgeous. Look at where these people get to do comedy.
It's a nice theater.
I did stand up once in the Bronx on 4 cases of Bud Light. That's what I got. Look, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I would love a stage like that to bomb on.
Who booked that? Because I would do that.
Well, I'll hook you up. All right, now this gets me upset here because Canada's immigration minister claims that Santa Claus is a Canadian citizen. It's proven, he says, because he wears white and red. I wear white and red. I'm from Ronnie Dangerfield wore white and red. We're not from.
I don't like it.
We're not from. I don't like it at all.
Santa's ours. We get to keep Santa.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola made Santa. He's ours.
And then there's actually there's look at Santa. He totally looks American. He's so
Yeah, look at his. Only Americans are that fat.
Can I see the picture of the address they give the little children to write? The lie?
Oh, yeah.
I MapQuested this, and it is not correct. North Pole is located in Alaska. So you know what, Canucks? You're out of luck. We get Santa.
And where is...
We pay for him.
Where is Ho-Oh-Ho?
Yeah, where is Ho-Oh-Ho? Yeah.
I think we know where Santa's Ho-Oh-Hos are.
Let's talk about the Royal Canadian Mounties.
Oh, they're my favorite, yeah.
Yeah. You know, they used to mount horses. Now they just mount Camaros and Mustangs.
Makes more sense.
Because, you know, it's easier, it's more convenient to pull over a crack drug lord, or, just chase a thief.
Imagine chasing a crackhead down with a horse.
Yeah.
That's just seems...
Yeah, is it horse heroin?
Is that another word for heroin? I don't know.
Yeah,
that's not my world. Yeah. That's not my world,
I'm not wearing
Millie.
this anymore because
that's
they don't
obviously
like us.
your world. She's getting a little angry. What else we got?
Did you know that Canadians love Kraft macaroni and cheese?
Yes, I did hear that, but from you.
Because it's packaged in Quebec by the maple syrup. That's one of the points. But you know what? They consume 55% more macaroni and cheese than Americans.
That's the knockoff version you find in the 99-cent store.
Mac and cheese loving Americans aren't the laziest people. It's the Canadians. They eat 55% more than we do.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Now, Canada is also the first country to create a landing pad specifically for UFOs.
Oh,
yeah, look at that.
That's stupid.
They wanted to be open, they built it back in 1967, which makes sense because drugs help people to think out of the box.
Yeah,
totally out of the box, right?
They're assuming the size of the alien ship, like we know the size of it.
Like we have like the whole desert. You could call us stupid. You got a landing pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, stupid. You're all stupid.
Help me with this word. Manitoba, Canada is the world's polar bear capital.
Oh.
Out of 25,000 polar bears in the world, 15,500 polar bears live in Canada.
So cute.
Some bears are so obnoxious they actually have a polar bear jail. That's where they keep the bipolar bears. Is in the jail because they're obnoxious. They want to...
Bipolar bears.
Yeah. People living in polar bear country actually leave their homes and cars unlocked to help those being chased.
I can't.
Where's that picture of the guy being chased? I was out on location, Bobby. Where is that? There he is. Can you imagine? This is just like in New York,
That's hilarious.
But we keep our everything locked because our polar bears will rip us off.
Yeah. Everyone's going to steal from us. That's how it goes down here in New York.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
As opposed to the snowy hills.
Yeah. So now, this
pole.
was featured in the Toronto News. A Slovakian gas station was robbed by a gun-toting male who was not happy with the amount of money they gave him. So he dragged some guy and took him into the back room, was beating the heck out of him. And all of a sudden, magically, this woman appears, and she gives him oral sex, keeping him there until the police could come. And,
Genius.
It was genius. Everybody was in shock and watched. But, this magical woman ended up splitting the reward money with her patient pimp.
That's the same way I get people to come see my shows.
Is how. I don't even want to question that. So that's it.
That's Canada.
That's Canada. A. We didn't say A because what?
A.
We say B.
We didn't say
B.
hoser. We didn't say get some Timbits from Timmy's.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, go get some Timmy's.
Some Molsons.
When we get a case of beer, we don't say go get the 2-4.
We didn't say any of that stuff we just said.
Right. We don't get into knuffles.
No, we don't get no knucking. Thanks for checking out. Welcome back to America. We got Korri, Birch, and Graham K coming up. Stay tuned and watch these commercials.
Yes,
It's what keeps the show going.
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, yes, true.
Yeah.
America.
America's the best. We are the best. We're the smartest.
She's not wrong.
You look great, kid.
Oh, it's going to start with that. Thanks. I look great. That's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us and welcome back to America this week. I have a really, really funny guy. We're doing Canada, as you know. And this guy I've met recently doing some online improv. And he's very well received, very funny. He does some really good, funny technical things that, makes his face look like Nicolas Cage. He did that. I don't know how he does that. But ladies and gentlemen, Korri Birch.
Hey.
Thanks for coming down. I really appreciate this. I've been looking forward to this since we decided to do this last week. So this is awesome.
For one whole week. Yeah, thanks for having me, DB.
I was a little worried that your hair was going to look better than mine, and it does. So if I seem a little distant,
yeah.
Okay,
It's a toupee, so don't worry.
I feel better about it. I worked with a guy one summer, whole summer. He was like, "That's fake hair, isn't it? That's fake hair." No, it's not. What I like to get into very quickly and immediately with my guests is I like to find out what first made them want to become a performer. Was it in your youth? Did it happen when you were older? How long have you been doing this? What was the first time you were on stage? Who was your mentor? Let me know. Where are you at with that?
Well, I think the main reason I became a performer is because I can't do anything else, and that's just true. Never been an office type guy, so it just made sense for me. In terms of where I started, or like the first time I was on stage, I did a show when I was in elementary school. I played Santa in a night before Christmas, or 'twas the night before Christmas. It's not a very exciting role. There was no lines.
No, it's great. That's a great way to start. So holidays are often the first time kids get on the stage for things because they're sort of forced at some grade level. You're like, you have that anxiety. Like it isn't hard enough to get in front of a classroom. Then they sort of force you to sing or perform something in front of lots of people so that they know that you can do that. It's an important piece of life, though, to be able to get on stage and talk to people. It's like the most important thing to do in life.
Yeah, one of my first big gigs, though, big in quotations, I suppose, but you guys have Hard Rock Cafes, or did at some point, where, and
I love Hard Rock Cafes.
Yeah, so there's one in Toronto. It's no longer there. It's been replaced by a drugstore because that's what happens in big cities.
Yeah.
But I did the like 40-year anniversary of that location, and I did stand up there. But it's mainly a rock venue, so I was doing stand up between the rock acts. And I don't know if you know this. If you do comedy before rock and roll, they hate the comedy.
They want to get to the music. Generally, people want to get to the music and are less into the comic. I remember doing the show. The biggest show I ever did was for 5,000 people at an outdoor kind of like an outdoor festival. But like nobody was listening. There's 5,000 people there, but nobody was listening as we were on stage. So I sort of kind of get where you're coming from on that. You're from Toronto.
Yes.
You're from Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
You've sort of been in the comedy scene there for a while. You lived most of your life, if not all your life, in Toronto, right outside of Toronto.
Yeah.
And you've taken some comedy courses out there, and you've been part of that scene. What's that scene like? Where have you performed? And what do you really like to do? I like to give my questions in 17 parts, so I hope you have to take notes.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Well, I first got into, the comedy scene specifically in Toronto. I started as an actor, and my first agent, who turned out to be not such a great guy, but he's like, the first thing you got to do is take classes. He's like, your resume looks great. You've got all these credits from theater and stuff like that, and a few small roles. But he's like, but what you really need is classes. So he said, I recommend this place called the Second City. So I joined the Second City. I started taking classes there, and that's really where the cult began, because it's I don't know if it's the same in New York, but yeah, improv is it's very cliquey, very culty almost.
Yeah, no, there is, and it's sort of always been like that. I think that sort of started in the late '90s in New York City when Upright Citizens Brigade opened, and they really started bringing a lot of attention to improv. I mean, we know where it came from. We know, the people that made it, and it became popular because of
Scientology.
Yeah, Scientology.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it is, essentially. And comedy is just a different sort of church.
Yes.
It really is. I would say, if anything, it would be my church.
Yeah, me too.
So you did stand-up too.
Yeah.
Have you had the opportunity to do any stand-up recently? Any in-person shows? Anything coming up now?
So Toronto is very much so still in lockdown, so nothing's open, no theaters or anything like that. I got to do stand-up last year, or maybe I guess 2 years ago now. 2020 doesn't count. But yeah, it's fun. It's different. I enjoy improv because of the collaborative element of it, and just people take care of each other. And even though I did say it has a cult-like element to it, pay more money and then you get better, and it's okay, great.
Well, yeah, there is a certain element of take these classes and we'll let you be part of our group. But like any club, that sort of requires dues of some sort.
Yeah.
Time and or money, or washing dishes or something like that. But
Certainly.
Yeah, some very, very, very popular comedy clubs in New York City have closed that have been there for 20, 30. I think maybe even the Comic Strip is done, which has been there since 1976. So, and Pit, I just saw a picture of the Pit, which is an offset of Upright Citizens Brigade. And they had a huge theater. They had 4 theaters, maybe even 5 in there.
Yeah.
And a picture of it being renovated and gutted out. And it was sort of heartbreaking because I went there so much. But I'm sure you get it, having been, in the very similar situation. What kind of bits do you do as a stand-up? Do you do observational humor? I imagine I have this image of what you do on stage, and I imagine it's well received.
Yeah, I do a little bit of observational stuff, a few personal stories and stuff like that. But yeah, just kind of whatever I find funny, which is such a cop-out, but yeah.
I like to do what other people find funny.
Yeah.
But it never works. 30 years of efforts in comedy, I think maybe I've made one person laugh. I'm not even sure if that was a person. We'll never be sure. I wrote a little song for you, Korri. I wrote a little song, and I want you to hear the song. I want to put it in the right key for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
So here we go. Oh wait, that's the wrong side. Sorry, I went to the wrong side.
No, please make sure you get it.
My apologies. Korri Birch, it's been a long search, but we've finally found you. Your cut of your jib is great. I know you're never late. I'm seething about how good your hair looks. I want to shave it off. I'll pay you to do that. $20. So, yeah, that's how I wanted to put that out.
That reminded me very much so of what I imagine it's like for like a young woman who goes to a guy's house for the first time and he's like, "Babe, I wrote you something." And then she just has to sit there as he plays for her.
That is sort of the, yes, that's very sort of the thing. And she's got to sit there and like it.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And how many times, even with a bad song, that's terrible. And,
Yeah.
you know, some guys can still get laid too.
Yeah, for sure.
Other guys, they don't, and they, you know, they never are talked to again after they play those songs. I'm sorry, I was having a moment.
Yeah, how was that for you, DB? Are you okay?
Drifting back to a past.
Yeah.
So we first met, I think, doing Extreme Improv.
Yeah.
It's an online improv group that David Riley Pustansky has put together.
Yeah.
Very funny guy. Those are some really good shows, and we did a show yesterday.
We did, yeah.
That I was I was particularly looking forward to the day before because I saw who was doing it, and I was like, oh, wow, this could really be good. These guys it was a really good group. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally.
Where else are you doing online improv?
There's a few groups that I've been part of. There's one out of I think Barcelona called Watch This Space Improv, and other just very ones. There's the Nursery also in the UK. They have an open jam and stuff like that. I've also incorporated into my show a little bit. Good News Toronto. It's chiefly like a news parody sketch show, but during the pandemic, to make it a little bit more interactive with the audience, because you can't really hear them, I invite the audience into the Zoom with us, and then they can participate in some of the improv games and stuff like that, and come on screen with us. And
I love that. Okay,
yeah,
check that out. I like that. It's a great concept. I like the show, and my favorite genre, and I come from that genre too, is satirical news.
Yeah.
Favorite stuff to watch as a kid was satirical news.
Oh,
I think
cool.
I'm a little older than you, but I used to watch something.
21? 22.
Nice. Oh, you can just keep on. We know that you're bullshitting me. But when I was a kid, not necessarily the news, was a show on HBO.
Okay.
And it had quite a cast: Stuart Pankin, Danny Breen, Mitchell Lawrence, guys who sort of did things after that were never like huge, but it was great sketch and news parody, and it was Ronald Reagan stuff a lot of the time. So I remember this one bit where they just took, it was an actual video of George H.W. Bush, the first one, going to church and praying, and they went into his thoughts as he was praying, and it was, please let me be president. 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 So it was stuff like that. And I just have always loved that. And even did some of that for the National Lampoon for a little while. And
nice.
Even up until like 2018, when another guy bought the National Lampoon. It seems to go through a lot of people's hands. They just take it for branding.
Yeah.
But, your show in particular, and you fit as a host really well. It's it comes off particularly well. I would imagine that you get some sort of host work outside of that. Realm.
In the before times, especially, yes, I would. I'd host a fair share of things here in Toronto. For example, when I don't know if you're familiar with the CW show Riverdale. It's hot garbage. It's like an Archie.
It is. It's based on Archie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Archie, but they made them sexy and murdery.
You fit the type on that show, and that's not a bad thing. You know, I don't know what you're sort of taking it as an insult, but I could see you fitting in characters on the show. Anyway.
Yeah, but I ended up doing an improvised version of that show, like a live when the show first premiered, and we did it at a theater here called the Social Capital Theater, which is a fantastic theater here in Toronto. But we did an improvised version, and we got coverage from the Toronto Star, which is one of the largest papers here.
Uh-huh.
They came to the theater and like covered the whole thing. It was wild.
That's so awesome.
It was so stupid. It was such a dumb concept because I'm like, this show is awful. We have to make fun of it. But then like genuine fans of the show were like, how do I get tickets? Like, and it was like the busiest that theater has ever been, because it's kind of like an indie theater, and it's kind of like one of those theaters that if you're in the know, you go, whatever. But like it's like an older bar, and like has that really like hasn't been updated since probably the 90s or 80s even. But then all these like
what my grandmother's basement might look like.
yeah, exactly. But then like a bunch of young kids came, and I was like, oh boy, they are in for a surprise.
Yeah. Where do you see comedy going? Have they talked about any restrictions being lifted? Like they've gone to like April 2nd now as a day that they're going to let everyone back to doing things in New York City.
Oh, that's great.
The day
Texas is open now for if you want to do anything, go to Texas.
That they actually have a video of the governor being like, hey, our numbers are too high, we can't do this. And then they cut to him 6 months later, the numbers are higher, actually, as far as getting infected. And he's like, everyone's got to go back.
Yeah.
And I sort of get people's need to do that, but try to be smart. I've been lucky to not get sick and not be around people that have gotten sick and all that. But
yeah, I mean the rollout here has been much slower than in the States. They're saying September, but
that's what I'm more akin to. I think that's probably closer to what it should be. That they're not. I guess that nobody's sure.
Yeah.
I am sort of stockpiling for an apocalypse. Now, if you were stockpiling for an apocalypse, what is some of the top things that you would bring with you? What would you need? What do you think?
Stockpile? Well, probably like candy. I've always got candy.
Are those Smarties?
No, they're Swedish fish. Not even.
Oh, you like gummy things? Yeah. That's fine. Did you bring some for the whole class?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's,
I don't know. That's one thing. That's it. That's all I need to keep me going.
A backpack full of candy. You keep it to yourself.
That is that. It reminds me of a stand-up joke that I have. But yeah, I do. I'm literally that person. I have a backpack with candy in it, and I also teach improv a little bit.
Okay, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, but I was going back to Markham, the suburb that I'm originally from, and I was riding a bus, and I ran into one of my former students in line for the bus. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "You're like the funny like improv teacher that used to come to class and like whatever." Because I would go to my old high school and kind of work as like a student teacher there and like run the improv classes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, great!" But now like we ended up sitting near each other on the bus. So like now I have to like keep this. Like, oh, I just finished a show and I'm like, okay, I got to keep like the energy up and like, how do I like reach this kid and be a funny, like the improv fun teacher? And I'm like, oh, I got a great idea. So the bus is going, and I'm like, oh, I got it. So I reach into my backpack. I have a bunch of like sour gummy worms. And I was going to be like, hey, check this out, guys. And my former students were doing cocaine on the back of the bus.
Oh, great! That's great.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. So that's where they're at now."
I'm always surprised by how many people will do drugs on public transportation.
Yeah,
run rampant in the city in New York, and go to the bathroom on public transportation.
That's true. I just don't know where I went wrong. Where they can afford to do cocaine on a bus, but all I got is gummy worms,
Right, but if you wanted cocaine, you could find it. It's everywhere, apparently. That's not. I don't know.
Yeah, my problem is I don't want it though.
That's not my thing. I like other stuff, but we won't talk about that now. I'm a real weirdo. I wanted to do a little improv together because I've seen you play with your graphics in your background.
Yeah.
I'm capable of doing a little bit, but not as much as you. So I want us to, we should probably decide on a relationship before we pick the pictures, or maybe not, or yeah, let's pick a location and a relationship, something like a job interview, something simple, or
Great.
a job interview for a retail position of some sort.
Should we wait? Let's write the whole thing out first.
Yeah. And you're going to come in with a bottle of shampoo.
Yeah, okay, great.
So let's do it from that, and we'll pick a picture. I'm going to pick something, and I'm going to work that picture into the scene, or at least
Okay.
try.
Great. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're here for the interview. You're here for the interview. You're the interview to be my next meal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you need more vegetables in your diet is what I'm here for.
Oh, I don't eat meat. I'm one of them sharks that don't eat meat.
Yeah. Oh, I get that a lot. I get that a lot. Some people confuse me with other things, but no, I'm technically a vegetable, eggplant, or aubergine in some parts of the world.
Oh, that's a classy word you got there, aubergine.
Yeah, it appears that I am having some kind of spinal issue. Can't.
Yeah, it looks like you don't have any bones or nothing. You look like an eggplant to me.
Yeah, well, exactly. I certainly am an eggplant, boneless, but also I'm just a bit nervous. That's why I'm
I
moving.
understand you're about to be eaten by a shark, so being nervous is generally part of it. I try to calm down my prey before I eat it, though. So just know that life ends for everything. So
I'm excited now.
Yeah, as you were a great interview. I appreciate you coming down here, and now I'm going to eat you.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
I don't know what that was.
Did you say was it? That's it was an experiment. It was an experiment.
Yeah, that was.
So is the pearl necklace that I now have around me.
Good.
How did that happen? That's disgusting. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all about. So Korri, thank you so much. Oh,
would you be my neighbor?
Oh, Mr. Rogers. Hey, it's nice to see you here. That's great.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A neighborly day in the beauty wood.
Nice sweater. Are we gonna go to the box making factory today? We're gonna go watch boxes being made. That's gonna be fun.
No, but I got a friend for you.
You have a friend for me?
Yeah.
Who's your friend?
Hello!
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
What's your friend's name? What is your name there?
Okay, wait a second.
That's a great name. I mean, oh, you're a smoker. I understand.
Yeah, he started smoking because he heard that smokers are higher on the vaccine priority list. So.
Oh, smart thinking. That's why I gained 65 pounds.
Oh.
I could get on the list. Yeah, that's why I did.
You've always been a smart boy, DB.
I am a smarty pants. That's great. That's what I mean. How do you do that? Tell me later. It's like magic. You made a deal with the devil, didn't you?
Hello. I need my own child show. Oh, you want a kiss? Okay.
Hey, no kissing.
This is a kid show. There's nothing like that going on here. All right? I don't like hearing that stuff. Okay?
You're right. You're right.
Don't make me use this baton in my hand all over your, I don't
This
want to.
This is why we're trying to defund you, sir. Okay?
I'm a security guard at the mall. I am a mall security guard.
Oh, Paul Blart.
Yeah, they
Big
wouldn't
fan.
let me be a real cop.
Big fan, big fan.
So yeah, we both love puppets. Who doesn't love puppets? Korri, I hate that we have to end this, but all conversations must end.
Yeah.
And I want you to let people know where they can go see you and stuff of that nature. Talk about yourself. You can talk about how awesome I was if you want, but you should really talk about yourself.
Well, DB, it's been something. We did something for sure.
It happened.
But yeah, at Good News Comedy on the socials. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Who knows? And then yeah, and then at Korri Birch as well, which is spelled ridiculously, Korri, and then Birch like the tree. I don't know. I didn't choose the spelling.
No, none of us choose our names. Well, I actually chose DB. I changed it when I joined the unions. So some of us do choose our names.
So yeah, this has been great.
This has been great. You are a great presence. You are like bringing a light into a room and making people laugh.
Your presence is a present. So
yeah. Yes. We will be right back after this. Check out Welcome Back to America and our commercials. We have sponsors. That's how we keep this stuff going. So if you don't watch them, you don't watch the sponsors, then the show's going to go off the air, and then I won't have anything. Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to America. DB Frick here. Got another very, very funny person, as I always do. I've known this guy a long time. Met him working at a restaurant many years ago. He was a bartender. He used to give me free drinks and would keep me drunk in the through the afternoons of most of that job. That's all we'll say about that. This man has had the opportunity to be on Stephen Colbert. He has been in Broken Lizard films. He is really funny. He's one of the funniest guys around. He's Canadian. He's from Ottawa. Ladies and gentlemen, Graham Kay. How you doing, Graham?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me talk to you in my kitchen.
Yeah, no, the kitchen's nice. I like it. I thought it was a fake background, though.
Yeah,
I think if you lived somewhere really, really, really nice, you just wanted it to look like.
That's right. Yeah, no, this is actually a Zoom background you can download. It is not famous comedian's apartment background.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, how much is that? It's like $2.99 a month or something like that, I would guess.
Yeah, it's a subscription just for this background. So.
Right. I'm also a big fan of the sweater you're wearing. I think it's a sweater.
Oh, it's a sweater. Yeah.
I like it. It's very, very Native American.
Yeah, I like to appropriate culture whenever I can. And I thought today would be a good day for that. So.
Right. Also, that is used during when you tour, that same term is used, and you refer to yourself as the world's best black comedian.
Yes.
You like to appropriate.
Yes, that is true. That is something I do, and people do not like it. They get quite upset.
I haven't heard you called out for it. You'd think you'd be canceled for something like that.
It's hard to cancel someone who can't be canceled, isn't on anything. You have to be on something.
Right, we got to put you on something to take it on. Okay, we got to take something great away from you.
Yes. Oh, they're going to take me. They're going to cancel me for my own podcast, or I can't be on Welcome Back to America. And, oh my God,
that sounded sort of condescending.
It's not. Hey, look, this is a great show, and I am honored to be on it. But we both know that if Salon writes an article about this, we're still going to do Welcome Back to America.
Oh yeah. Nobody's gonna. I'm not gonna be able to stop. I've already paid for like at least 20 weeks. So yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
You've been doing comedy a long time. You're great, very comfortable on a stage. Do you remember the first time you got on stage, and what made you want to get into stand-up comedy specifically?
I did an impression. There was like this in my high school. There was this thing called you would put in I forget what it was called. You'd put in earphones, and then you would sing the song you're listening to in front of the whole school.
I think that's called singing.
Right. Good point.
Yeah.
We had this thing called singing in my high school, and things always come a little later to Canada. But so we had that, and I did I did a Billie Jean, and then I started intentionally screwing up the lyrics, and then I pulled out the end of the earphone cord, and I was like, it's not attached to anything. I'm just and then instead of doing the rest of the song, everyone's doing these 3-minute songs and really giving it. I just did impressions of the teachers.
Great. Yeah, I'm sure they loved it. You could win something like that in high school. That's the kind of thing I'm assuming it's high school. I don't think you said.
It was high. Yeah. I was a professor at a local college.
Right.
Yeah. It was so that was like a big rush. It went over really well, and it's the kind of thing that made me feel like I was floating for a long time. And I always wanted to do stand up. It's just something I always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. And yeah, and then I tried to do it a few years later and bombed horribly. And my girlfriend at the time, even though I didn't tell her what I was doing, she found that I was doing comedy and snuck in the back. And then I got off stage and I was like, thank God nobody saw that. Then I walked out of the green room and she was there. And yeah, it didn't go over well. So
she break up with you, or how?
She said that we were young. We were like 21, 20. She was like, I know that I love you because I still like you after watching that.
Oh, that's a good thing to hear from someone that's not paying you to do comedy.
Yes, exactly. We did eventually break up.
That happens too.
Mm-hmm. It does happen. It mostly happens.
So what? Say it again.
It mostly happens.
Yeah. There's more breakups than more relationships don't work out than do till death, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Love ends badly no matter what.
Yes.
It ends in death. Or
someone is always sad 100% of the time.
Always
Unless you're both walking hand in hand on a river, thinking to yourself, what a lovely day, and then you are vaporized by a nuclear blast, both at the same time.
Sure.
That's the only way.
That's the one situation.
Yes.
The one. You found it. You were on Colbert probably about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. Something.
Yeah, two, I think. Yeah.
2?
Yes.
What was that experience like, getting on there? And it must have been just crazy.
It was good. It was a lifelong goal of getting a late night set. And I'm really appreciative of them picking me.
It's harder to do now. There's not a lot of opportunities to get sets on late night talk shows. They're not all doing as much of that as they used to.
It is true. It is true. And Conan changing his format is a huge blow to that, because he used to have comics on a lot.
But he's about to do variety. He's about to do a variety show for HBO Max. So my guess is, if you're doing variety, comedians are going to come up. That's just an assumption.
That's a good point, and I hope you're right. It's been I'd love to do Conan. I love Colbert. I think he's so funny. I think in the history of comedy, he has a huge place.
No.
But Conan is my guy. Like he shaped my sense of humor when he was writing for The Simpsons, when he was writing for SNL.
We agree.
Yeah,
we agree. I actually had the opportunity to intern very long ago for the show, back in 1999 and 2000.
Oh, awesome.
And I got a couple of jokes on, and I interviewed to be a writer there, but I twice actually. And I didn't get the job, but that led to about 15 other writing opportunities that ended up being failures.
Great.
Jobs I didn't get. Jobs I interviewed for but didn't get. So it led to interviews, but that was it.
That's great, though. It's hard to get in the door.
Conan was always one of those guys that really was always the funniest guy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that I would watch rehearsal, it was great. I was very lucky to be part of that. When was the last time you did a live show?
Last Saturday. Yeah.
You're doing okay. Very good.
Yeah, there's. I'm in New York right now, and there's outdoor live shows all the time. Even in the winter, there's New York Comedy Club. They have 2 comedy clubs in Manhattan, and what they've done, they've rented a penthouse with a large terrace, and they have heat lamps set up, and walls that are like 4 or 5 feet high. So if you're sitting down, you're kind of out of the wind, and there's heat lamps, and it's doable. Sometimes people shiver.
Okay,
that's
great.
Yeah, and there's park shows still, and there's patio shows. Now that restaurants are back open in limited capacity, a couple of the clubs are doing like funny dinners. So, it's mostly safe. People are really spaced out. The comedians are behind like a plexiglass. So any sort of, talking.
You can say spit.
Droplets are stopped. And, there's shows. There's definitely shows. I'm doing a show. I'm doing 3 shows on this coming Saturday.
That's great.
Yeah,
it's great that there's and even with no
all outdoor.
Say it again.
All outdoor.
Oh yeah, no, I realize that. But they're opening on April 2nd now. We know as of yesterday that on April 2nd they're actually going to open comedy clubs, and I think there'll be an interesting race to be the first person on a comedy club stage since the pandemic started. And I think it'll actually, someone will write about it. Some New York Times writer is going to be there when the first person goes on stage, whoever it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess it would be whatever theater had shows the earliest, who would put on the earliest shows on a weekend.
There's clubs that are already doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like funny dinners, but.
Funny dinners. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And I'm going to assume that you haven't gotten sick at all.
No, I'm lucky. I've been really careful.
Would imagine you would.
Knock on wood. I haven't been traveling. I've been every time there's a huge spike, I pretty much stay inside. Just go for jogs and stuff. And
I have 3 sort of questions that are a little different than what we've been talking about for the last few minutes.
Sure.
My first one is, are men funny?
No.
Right. Good answer.
Yeah.
If you were on the run and you had a bag of money and you needed to hide the money,
Yes.
where are you hiding it?
I was on the run. I would hide. I would convert the money into cryptocurrency, and I would take the blockchain code and hide it on my old sports podcast, because that podcast was the safest place in the world to store information.
That suggesting nobody got to it.
Nobody could find it. Nobody. Yeah.
That's great.
Mhm.
That's great. You're
Yeah.
a genius.
Thank you. Yeah, if you want to store your social security number or anything, just put it on Friends in Sports podcast. I think it still exists somewhere on iTunes.
Millions of people are going to do that because of this show.
Yeah.
This show that a dozen people watch. Have you, if you've ever considered, you're a fan of superheroes? I believe that you've talked about that before. Superheroes have come up. If you could have a superhero power, what would that superhero power be?
Oh boy. Well, if you say being invisible, you're obviously a pervert. And
Right, you just want to see other people naked.
yeah, you're just an ugly pervert. So that's what you're saying out loud when you say you want to be invisible. I'm an ugly pervert. I can't get it. I can't see naked ladies on my own. So I'm not going to say that. Laser eyes would be a big problem because you'd be killing everyone you look at.
Right. And it can hurt you too.
Yes. I look in mirrors all the time. I don't look good in sunglasses. You have to wear those glasses. I don't look good in sunglasses.
Guys, I look better with sunglasses.
Yeah, I could see you looking like a...
Takes a third of my face away. It's great.
Yeah, I always look bad. Anyway, I would say, I guess flying. Yeah, flying would be fun. You could,
Haven't you been on planes, though? You've been on planes, right?
That's a good point. I think that's another good point. Flying on a plane is way more comfortable than being up there in the elements, cold.
Right, and then eventually it's cold, and eventually you'll have to test how high you can go.
Yes.
You might pass out while you're doing it.
That's another good point. It's it's what we call in the superhero world the Icarus effect.
Right.
You're going to test the limits, and you're going to die. So
I'm just trying to be practical. I'm pragmatic.
I think my superpower would be this: no hangovers and regular shits the next day.
Huh. Wow. That's good.
Yeah, for the rest of my life. That would be so awesome. Oh my gosh.
You could just drink and drink and drink.
Ugh. And also, if it wouldn't give me a pot belly. Like, I'm a taller, skinny guy, and when I in the spring, I always I get excited and I drink a bunch of beers on the patio, and then I'm a skinny fat guy. It's not good.
Yeah.
So I gotta I would like it if I didn't get a pot belly and I didn't get hungover and I had regular bathroom times the next day.
If now, are you a fan of rap music? You a fan of rap music?
Not. I mean, I keep generally abreast of what's going on. I liked early '90s hip hop.
Okay.
Mid 90s hip hop, and I guess it's just because because I'm older or whatever. But I kind of know the main players that are still happening. But I would say no.
That being said, though, okay, why did they want to stick him for his papers? Why did they want to stick the Notorious B.I.G. for his papers? In one of his songs, he goes, "Why they want to stick me for my paper? Damn! Why they want to stick me for?"
Well, I tell you what. When you have 7 Mac 11s and 838s, you're putting yourself out there. People are gonna want. They want to stick your papers. In my experience.
Yeah, you're right.
When I'm wielding a bunch of illegal firearms.
And you've been there. If anybody's been there.
Come on.
With illegal firearms.
You see this sweater?
Yeah.
What are we talking? Yeah.
Firearms. I assume
you don't get a kitchen this good by playing by the rules.
No. I figured that was your second kitchen anyway.
No. This is it. This is the whole thing. I'm sitting on my bed.
Oh my, sort of. It is only 3 feet away.
Yeah.
It's how it is. I mean,
Mhm.
I often don't understand why people want really bigger houses, because then you're just always further away from the things that you need.
Yeah.
Like, I would be much further away from the bathroom if the house were much bigger. Then the walk from the kitchen back to the room.
Mm-hmm.
I might do less walking overall. I've never really thought about that before.
One of my favorite times in my life, I lived in a 200 square foot apartment. And sometimes I didn't leave the house for 2 days. And I loved it. Everything was there.
I like that you call it a house. That's nothing like a house.
It's nothing like, no. It's like a rich person's closet. It was a walk-in closet for a rich lady. But
right.
Sometimes I would like lose stuff in there and I'd be like, how? Where?
That's great. Now, you did some work with the guys from Super Troopers, the Broken Lizard guys.
Yeah, it was like one of my favorite movies as a teen growing up, Super Troopers, and I got to be in the sequel. I had a very tiny role, but it was a bigger role initially, and all my lines got cut, but I still got a couple lines in there. But it was a huge honor and a lot of fun.
Very Canadian thing to get to do. I mean,
yes, I played a Canadian.
That's the history of Canadian comedy and comedy.
Yeah,
but it's just a really cool thing to be part of.
My favorite part is my cousin helped me with the self-tape to do for the audition, and he's a cop, and like his whole division in Canada they call precincts division. They like he was in the SWAT team now, and they just like talk about they quote Super Troopers all day, every day. Right. And then I texted him and I was like, dude, I got the part. He was like, what? It was so awesome.
Now, in our last minute or two, I want to thank you, Graham, because you're a great interview and
thanks, man.
You have a great personality, and I've always thought that.
Thanks. I really enjoyed working with you. I thought you were genuinely funny at the place that we worked at, and you were an actor, and you would inject comedy into situations. You were an improviser, and I was like, this he's got a good muscle, a good instrument.
I appreciate that. I'm not surprised we're able to be funny together. Mm-hmm. Is there anywhere that people can go to see your stuff, look you up, see what shows?
The main thing I want to get out there is that I have a new podcast I'm very proud of, and we've got a lot of big names that are guests on it in the comedy world. Dan Soder's coming up, Nate Bargatze's coming up, Josh Gondelman, who's won multiple Emmys for Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, was just on it. Yasser Lester, who's a writer. He wrote on Girls. He's on Black Monday. Anyway, the podcast is called The Edgelords, and it's myself and Robbie Slowick. We're two nice guy comedians trying to learn how to be edgy. So we get our comedy buddies on to try and teach us how to be edgy, so we can because all like the famous comedians that have podcasts are edgy, so we're trying to figure it out.
But you have to know that fine line, because it's also that edginess that gets people canceled.
Hey, but you can't get canceled if you have your own fan base,
That's true. That's a very smart way to look at it.
So it's called The Edgelords. The Edgelords, and it's on everywhere. It's on every platform that and you can find the link to the link to it on my Instagram, which my Instagram is at Instagram K.
That's great. It was really a pleasure to have you down here. Some of my favorite comedians are named Graham Chapman, now Graham K too. So I hope we talk again soon, and I hope we see each other in person. I'm sure our paths will cross.
Yeah. Thanks for reaching out, and it was good to see you again.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thanks for having me back in America. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was great having you. Stay here. Thanks for
Well.
checking us out. Stay tuned. We need you to watch these commercials that pay for the show. That stuff. All right. Welcome back to America. DB Frick. That's Graham K.
Me llaman Dan Pablo y hace más de 20 años me enamoré de una colombiana. Viajé a su país y conocí un estilo de café muy distinto, muy especial. Ahora tostamos cafés excelentes, con alturas y microclimas diferentes, resultado en una taza muy compleja y muy rica, un sabor nuevo en el mundo. Fue un éxito. And I even got to keep the girl.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out. Welcome back to America this week. Oh, sorry, Millie. We keep keeping you. We had a great show. Thanks to Millie for doing all her work on Canada. Korri, Birch, Graham K. Great interviews. Both sons of Canada. Next week, we got Texas. We got a couple of great comedians. I'm sorry, Millie. Are we?
No,
is
no,
it
no,
that
no,
time
wait,
to
no,
do
no,
this?
no, I'll wait.
All right. Check out Welcome Back to America every Monday night at 10 p.m. on Strong Island Television. Give me the phone.
No.
Give me the phone.